Good evening, children. We have already done this chapter, but in terms of revision, so that your examinations are near, so again it can be revised and it is going to be fruitful for you. And after the chapter gets over, means after the class, we are having the MCQ type questions, and those questions are the new ones. They are not the repeated questions. So try to give the answers, and all of you should participate. It should not happen that few are participating and few are not participating. Okay, now I am moving. Now, as you know that the name of the chapter is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Now, in this chapter, we are going to study the points of the age of social change, the Russian Revolution, February Revolution in Petrograd, changes after October Revolution, the global influence of the Russian Revolution. Now, let's talk about the age of social change. The French Revolution had a profound impact on the world and brought about more economic and social changes than the earlier revolutions had done. देखो, इससे पहले पिछले चैप्टर में we have studied about the French Revolution. अब जो French Revolution हुआ था 1789 का, उसका असर जो था, the impact of that could be seen on the entire other nations. The English Revolutions and the American Revolution. The English and the American Revolution did not spread powerful ideas as the French Revolution did. New ideas of individual liberty, freedom of rights came to the fore. These ideas spread not only in Europe but in Asia also. देखो revolutions जो हो रहे थे वो दूसरे देशों में हो रहे थे, फ्रांस में हुआ था, अमेरिका में हुआ था, इंग्लैंड में हुआ था, लेकिन उसका असर यूरोप में तो था ही, साथ में उसका जो असर था, the impact of that could be observed in Asia also. Now the front stage was no longer occupied by the nobility and the clergy, but by the people. इसका सबसे पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट ये था कि जो इस मूवमेंट्स के आगे थे, जो इस रेवोल्यूशंस में जो लीड कर रहे थे, वो नोबल्स और क्लर्जी नहीं थे. They were not the nobles or the clergy, but the people. People means the common citizens. People came forward and started discussing changes. In India, social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Henry Derozio, H.L.V. Derozio, Henry Louis Vivian Derozio, and Anglo-Indian poet talked of making drastic changes in the society. Revolutions कहाँ पे हो रहे थे? Changes आ रहे थे अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड, फ्रांस, लेकिन उसका असर इंडिया में भी हुआ. इंडिया के जो हमारे सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स थे, फॉर एग्जांपल राजा राम मोहन रॉय एंड हेनरी डेरोजियो, जो एंग्लो इंडियन पोएट थे, these people also talked about making changes in the society. They talked about the rights of the poor and the emancipation of women. गरीबों को भी हक मिले और महिलाओं को, the females should be getting equal support as the male society was getting. But till the end of the 18th century, there were still people in Europe who opposed changes. लेकिन जैसे ही 18th century के एंड हुआ, अभी भी वहाँ पे लोग थे ऐसे जो इसका विरोध कर रहे थे. यूरोप में some people were opposing it. The ones who wanted gradual change, जो लोग gradual change चाहते थे, they were called conservatives. Against them were the radicals who wanted a drastic change. And there were liberals who wanted freedom of the individual. तीन टाइप के लोग हो रहे थे. एक थे liberals, एक थे आपके radicals और तीसरे थे conservatives. The political awakening, अब जो पूरे देश में political awakening हो रही थी, led to new doctrines which brought about great changes in society. One of the historical events of great significance was the Russian Revolution. और उस समय जो एक क्रांति आई थी, राजनीति में क्रांति आई थी, जो एक political awakening was being brought, that was through the way of Russian Revolution. ये स्टार्ट किया था Russian Revolution से. It made socialism. This made socialism one of the most powerful ideologies and had a tremendous effect on the future and the role of society in Europe. इसका फायदा क्या था? It made socialism one of the most powerful ideologies and had a tremendous effect on the future and the role of society in Europe. My next point is liberals. If I talk about the age of social change, then we will be studying about liberals, radicals, and the conservatives. Three type of groups were there. Three type of societies were being formed. One was of the liberals, the other was of the radicals, and the third one was conservatives. So firstly we should emphasize on liberals. अब पहला सवाल आता है liberals कौन थे? ये चाहते क्या थे? Liberals were one of the foremost groups which tried to change society. ये शुरुआत वाले थे जो चाहते थे समाज को बदलना. Their main doctrine was the freedom of the individual, and their main target was that the individuals should get freedom. They wanted the individual to be free from class, corporate or government restraints. मतलब सीधा इसका मतलब होता है कि जो इंडिविजुअल है, कोई भी एक इंसान है, वो किसी क्लास में ना हो, मतलब रिच क्लास, कैपिटलिस्ट हो, मिडिल हो, किसी क्लास में ना हो, किसी कॉर्पोरेट का ना हो और सरकारी ना हो, मतलब किसी के अंडर वो ना आता हो. It was the second great European doctrine to affect the world. The first was nationalism. अब liberals क्या चीज़ चाहते थे? The liberals advocated religious toleration. Religious toleration मतलब धर्म को बराबर टॉलरेट किया जाए. It was a time when European nations favored one religion or the other. क्योंकि उस समय यूरोप की हालत ऐसी हो रही थी कि लोग चाह रहे थे, मतलब जो ग्रुप्स थे या कई देश थे, वो एक धर्म को चाहते थे या फिर दूसरे धर्म को चाहते थे. They were supporting one religion or the other religion. Means there was a fight for religionship. कौन सा religion survive करेगा? ब्रिटेन सपोर्टेड द चर्च ऑफ इंग्लैंड. अब समझो, ब्रिटेन किसको सपोर्ट कर रहा था? चर्च ऑफ इंग्लैंड को. Whereas Spain, Austria and France, they were supporting the Catholic Church. Remember the points? The Britain was supporting Church of England, whereas on the other side, Spain, Austria and France were supporting the Catholic Church. Others followed the Protestants. और जो दूसरे लोग थे, जो दूसरे देश थे, they were the supporters of the Protestants. वो लोग किसको सपोर्ट कर रहे थे? They were supporting the Protestants. Now, let's talk about the liberals. Liberals also supported individual security. Liberals were in favor of supporting individual security and property rights. Liberals also opposed the uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers. They wanted to safeguard the rights of individuals against government. ये लोग चाहते थे कि हर इंडिविजुअल को, हर एक इंसान के राइट्स हो, उसमें सरकार, the government should not interfere in the individual rights. They were advocates of parliamentary rule. ये लोग क्या चाहते थे? देश में पार्लियामेंट आ जाए. They were advocates of parliamentary rule, existence of independent judiciary and multi-party system. 3 points बन रहे हैं. They were advocates of parliamentary rule, existence of independent judiciary and multi-party system. In India, all these qualities are there. They wanted the presence of opposition parties to control the government. Now, if you see in India, the same system is being followed. We are having a parliamentary rule, we are having independent judiciary, and we are having multi-party system. And what is the benefit of the opposition? The benefit of the opposition is that they are able to control the government. Opposition party जो होती है वो हमारी सरकार को एक तरीके से रोके रखती है, मीन्स दे आर नॉट टोटली, दे द रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट बिकम अ टोटलिटेरियन गवर्नमेंट. They are being opposed, they are being blocked by the opposition parties. After this, but the liberals, जो liberals थे हमारे, but the liberals were not like Democrats. They did not support adult franchise. Voting rights were given to the men who owned property. सबसे बड़ा नुकसान समझो इसका, वोट डालने का, चुनाव में अपना वोट डालने का हक सिर्फ उन लोगों के पास था जिनके पास अपनी प्रॉपर्टी थी. द लोअर मिडिल क्लास एंड द वर्कर्स वर नॉट गिवन वोटिंग राइट्स. जो लोअर मिडिल क्लास था और जो वर्कर्स था उनके पास कोई राइट नहीं था, उनके पास अपने वोट डालने का राइट भी नहीं था. एंड ऑन द अदर साइड द फीमेल्स, वुमेन वर नॉट अलाउड टू वोट. फीमेल वोट डाल ही नहीं सकती है. Thus the liberals supported the interest of the upper middle class. So इससे हम लोग को एक बात क्लियर हो जाती है कि जो liberals थे, the liberals were supporting only the interest of the upper middle class. जो मध्यवर्गीय ऊंचे वाले थे, सिर्फ उनके पास liberals उनके साथ समर्थन कर रहे थे. liberals जो गरीब लोग थे उनके साथ नहीं थे, जिनके पास प्रॉपर्टी नहीं थी उनके साथ नहीं थे. And the females, and they were not supporting the female society. Any doubt in this, children? Any doubt in the point? Okay. Now let's move to the second point, that is radicals. हमारा अगला पॉइंट है radicals का. Now, and I hope so that for everyone this liberals would be clear. Now I am moving to the point of radicals. अभी radicals क्या चीज थी? They unlike the liberals opposed the privileges of the rich, the landowners and the factory owners. They wanted a nation in which the government was based on a majority of the country's population. Radicals के कुछ पॉइंट्स अच्छे थे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ये लोग लिबरल्स की नहीं तरह थे. दे वर नॉट लाइक द लिबरल्स. ये कर रहे थे अपोज जो अमीर लोगों को, जो कैपिटलिस्ट लोगों को जो प्रिविलेजेस मिल रहे थे, जो सुविधाएं मिल रही थी, जो जमींदार थे, जो लैंड ओनर्स थे और जो फैक्ट्रियों के मालिक थे, उन लोगों को जो सुविधाएं मिल रही थी, they were against that. They wanted a nation in which the government was based on a majority of the country's population. They even supported women's right. They even supported women's rights and backed suffrage movements. They were against the idea that the wealth of the country should be in hands of few. इनका एक पॉइंट अच्छा था कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि देश की जो संपत्ति है, देश का जो धन है, वो सिर्फ कुछ लोगों के हाथ में सिमट जाए. Though they were not against the ownership of the property, on the other side, they were not saying that this ownership of property should be banned, but they were saying that certain barriers should be there. कुछ पॉइंट्स होने चाहिए, कुछ उसके लिए कंडीशंस होने चाहिए. Now the third point is of conservatives. जो तीसरा पॉइंट है हमारा वो conservatives का है. As the name suggests, they did not want any change. नाम से ही समझ सकते हो कि वो कोई भी बदलाव नहीं चाहते थे. They wanted changes to be brought in slow process. उनकी सोच उस समय के हिसाब से सही थी कि जो भी बदलाव आते हैं, जो भी नई चीज़ आ रही, वो धीरे धीरे करके आए. They had respect for the institution of the past, and only in the 19th century they started realizing the importance of change. जो पुरानी चीज़ें थी उनको वो बहुत वैल्यू करते थे. अब उनको 19th सेंचुरी में समझ में आया दैट कि चेंजेस आर नीडेड, कि बदलाव के फायदे क्या हैं, दैट व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ द चेंजेस. सो देयर वाज अ क्लैश in the three groups, liberals, radicals or conservatives में, there was a clash of different ideas about social change and its cause. And it caused a social and political upheaval after the French Revolution. अब फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन के बाद इन तीनों ग्रुप्स में आपस में क्लैशेस होने लगी. अब इसका असर क्या हुआ? अब इसका असर हुआ इंडस्ट्रियल सोसाइटी, सोशल चेंजेस एंड नेशनलिज्म में. एंड द रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस वाज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल सोसाइटी, सोशल चेंज एंड नेशनलिज्म. अब हम लोग बात करते हैं, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट इंडस्ट्रियल सोसाइटी, सोशल चेंज एंड नेशनलिज्म. इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन हैड ब्रॉट अबाउट मैनी चेंजेस इन सोसाइटी. देखो, जो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन हुआ था 1917 में, जो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन उससे पहले कई जगहों पे हुआ था, इंग्लैंड फ्रांस में हो रहे थे. सो मेनी चेंजेस अकर्ड इन सोसाइटी. New cities, new industrial regions and railways expanded. What was the benefit of that? New cities, new industrial regions and railways expanded. Now अगर इन तीनों चीज़ों की बात करते हैं, city, industrial area और railway, all these things are interrelated. ये सारी चीज़ें एक दूसरे से related हैं. How? Because अगर आपके पास industries हैं तो प्रोडक्शन होगा तो यू विल हैव टू सेंड इट टू अदर एरियाज एंड फॉर सेंडिंग यू रिक्वायर रेलवे. Men, women and children started working in factories. The wages were low and the working hours were long. Remember the three words? The wages were low and the working hours were long. Rapid growth of towns led to housing and sanitation problems. अब जो शहर बस रहे थे, टाउन्स बस रहे थे और लोग वहाँ पे शिफ्ट होते जा रहे थे, भीड़ वहाँ बढ़ती जा रही थी. क्यों? क्योंकि वहाँ पे इंडस्ट्रीज, फैक्ट्रीज खुल रही थी और जहाँ फैक्ट्री होंगी वहाँ लोग ज़्यादा होंगे और जब लोग ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे कम पैसे में उनको रहने में बहुत सारी दिक्कतें आएंगी. Industries were owned by individuals and as you all know that all the industrialists are the individual owners. Even the members of liberal and radical groups were owners of factories. And on the other side, जो members थे liberal और radical groups के, they were also the owners of factories. Since they had acquired wealth through industrial production, they wanted to find a solution for the problems of the workers. They believed that if the workers were educated and healthy, it would benefit the whole society. इनकी ये सोच बहुत appropriate थी कि अगर workers पढ़े लिखे और मजबूत हैं तो इससे क्या होगा? इससे पूरे समाज का फायदा हो सकता है. They opposed the rights acquired by aristocracy because of their birth and firmly believed that individual efforts should be rewarded and people must value labor and enterprise. सीधी सी बात है कि अगर आप अमीर घर पे पैदा हुए हैं तो आपको तो जन्म से ही you are going to enjoy all the rights. Aristocracy by birth you are going to enjoy. But that should not be the criteria. The criteria should be whosoever deserves that. Whosoever deserve that. जिसमें वो काबिलियत हो उसको वो rights मिलने चाहिए. He should be upgraded, not by birth owners. They firmly believed that the progress and development of the society would take place if individual freedom was ensured. अगर हम लोगों को individual freedom दे दें तो तरक्की की ज़्यादा उम्मीदें होती हैं. For example, if somebody forces you, अगर आपको ज़बरदस्ती बैठाया जाए पढ़, then how much you can study? Until unless the feeling from within yourself occurs, then you are going to pay more and more time, more and more devotion to your education. Nobody can pressurize you, nobody can force you for getting the things or for getting yourself updated. It depends upon your feelings. The liberals and radical parties attracted a large number of workers and groups in the 19th century. जो दो ग्रुप्स थे, लिबरल्स और रेडिकल्स वाले, ये पूरे they were just attracting a huge number of workers and groups in the 19th century. By the year 1815, people openly advocated revolutions to end the kind of rule or government they had. The French Revolution aroused the spirit of nationalism and it spread to the neighboring countries. Can anyone tell me the definition of nationalism? Just one of you tell me the definition of nationalism. Just type the answer fast. Define nationalism. Till that time, okay. By 1815, people openly advocated revolutions, the kind of rule or government they had. The French Revolution aroused the spirit of nationalism and it spread to the neighboring countries. Nationalism simply means when the people are having, they start feeling that when you are having love for your own country, when you are having the feelings of love for your own country and you start, although in your nation different caste, communities, religions are there, but you start considering them as one. So that is known as nationalism. The Germans, the Italians, the Belgians, the numerous nationalists of Habsburg and Ottoman Empire tried to overthrow the existing governments. The idea was to create nations where every citizen had equal rights. They wanted to have such kind of country, such kind of nation where each and every individual is having his or her rights. The rights are meant for all. Independent nations had been established in Western Europe by 1871. Bismarck united Germany. The Italians became a nation under Giuseppe Mazzini. The conclusion of the World War I saw nationalism triumph throughout the Europe. तो फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर का असर क्या हुआ? कई सारे देशों को आज़ादी मिल गई. Some of the newly independent nations took birth, जैसे कि पोलैंड, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia and Albania. These nations also got a space in the European maps. And soon, within a short span of time, within a few decades, the idea of nationalism spread to the colonies ruled by the Europeans. देखो, ये सब चीज़ें यहाँ पे हो रही थी, यूरोप में हो रही थी और इसका असर जो था, the impact of this was throughout the world. पूरे देश में इसका असर हो रहा था, पूरे विश्व में. In India also, First World War के बाद so many changes came. The Indians got inspirations. Indians को पता चल रहा था कि दूसरे देशों में क्या हो रहा है. 1885 में जो कांग्रेस बनी, we have got the inspirations from the European countries only. The people awoke and were spurred to action in Asia, India and Africa. खास करके एशिया के देशों में और अफ्रीकन नेशंस में, जहाँ पे these the areas, the nations which were working or which were under the colonialism of the Europeans. In these areas, a lot of upgradation started. People started having the feelings of nationalism. They wanted to bring changes. So several reform movements, several national movements have started in India or in other parts of the world. Now, let's talk about, any doubt in this, children? Third point is, they believed that if individuals owned property, they would only think of personal gain and profit. They would not care for those workers who made the property productive and profitable. So, according to them, collective ownership would ensure that more attention was paid to collective interests than individual. They campaigned vigorously for this change. Now, a new school of social reformers called the Utopian Socialists appeared in the early 19th century. Two Frenchmen, one is Henry de Saint-Simon and the other one is Charles Fourier, and an industrialist, Englishman Robert Owen, were the most noted socialists among them. Owen wanted to build a cooperative community called New Harmony in Indiana, that is in USA. The other socialists believed that individual enterprise could not sustain cooperatives and governments should back cooperatives. Louis Blanc of France, 1813 to 1882, wanted that enterprises of the capitals should be replaced by the government with cooperatives. Those socialists did not think in terms of revolutions or class warfare. They spent years on preparing blueprints. But did not know how they could be put into practice. That is why they were called Utopian Socialists. Okay, children. Now I am moving to MCQ. Okay, sir. Okay, children. Now Vaibhav, Abhishek, Devansh, all the children, be ready for the questions. In the next class, I will be starting from Socialism in Europe. So, be ready for the questions. So the questions are, first question. My first question is, Karl Marx wanted workers to overthrow. Option 1, capitalism. Option 2, rule of private property. Option C, accumulation of profits by capitalists. And option D, radicals. Now children, you should be giving your answer fast. Okay, all the three children, that is Vaibhav, Devansh and Divyansh, have given their answers. And the correct answer is option A, and that is capitalism. So it's a good thing that the three candidates have given the appropriate answer. So good to see that you people are prepared. Now, let's move. Where is Prithvi? Prithvi, you are also supposed to give the answers. Now, the next question would be soon visible on your screen. Till that time, I am reading the question. Which among the following groups was against any kind of political or social change? Option A, nationalists. Option B, conservatives. Option C, liberals. And option D, radicals. Let the question come on your screen. Now it's visible. Yes, other children also send your answer. Okay, good. So now the correct answer is option A. Option B, that is conservatives. The conservatives were not in a mood. Okay, the answer is correct. That is nationalists. Correct answer. Now come to the third question. Yes, right answer. Now children, I am moving to the third question. And the third question is, the people who wanted to put an immediate end to the existing governments in Europe in 1815 were called. The option is nationalists, liberals, revolutionaries, and radicals. See the third question and send your answer. Okay, children, the question is, the people who wanted to put an immediate end to the existing governments in Europe in 1815 were called, the correct answer is option C. That's the right answer. Now, let's move to question number 4. The fourth question is, which of these statements are correct about Europe after the French Revolution? The options are, suddenly it seemed. Fourth question, A part, A option, suddenly it seemed possible to change the aristocratic society of the 18th century. Option B, however, not everyone wanted a complete transformation of society. Option C, some wanted a gradual shift while others wanted complete change of society. Yes, children, you have already sent the answer. It's good to see. Yes, and the correct answer is option D, that is all the above. Now let's move to the fifth question. The fifth question is, let the question come on your screen so that you can have a glance of that. Now the fifth question is, industrialization did not lead to which of the following problems? Option A, poor wages. Option B, long hours of work. Option C, liberalism. And option D, that is development of new industrialized regions. And the correct answer for this question is option C. Good children, you have given the right answer. Now let's move to the sixth question. Fill in the blanks is there. Just see to it carefully. The majority religion of Russia was dash, but the empire also included dash. Option A, Russian Orthodox Church grown out of Greek Orthodox Church. Option B, Russian Orthodox Church. Option C, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims and Buddhists. And option D, both, B and C. The question will be soon visible on your screen. Now read this and then give your answer. Yes, children, the correct answer is option D. Now let's move to the other question. Now, one short question is there which you have to answer. The last question for today. Mention two problems that emerged due to industrialization. Mention two problems that emerged due to industrialization. Yes, children, type the answer for this question. Okay. Okay, yes. Yes, other reasons can also be there for this question. The answer is unemployment became common, housing and sanitation were problems since towns were growing rapidly. So these are the two options. More options can be there. Unemployment, yes, this can be the other answers can also be there. So children, for today this much only. In the next class I would be starting from the topic of socialism in Europe, and I hope that the topic would be clear to you what we have